Hey, what's up? It's the day after the Conor McGregor Floyd won the fight. Who won the fight? Nobody. Everybody lost. Everybody lost. Except Conor, he lost a bit more. Yeah, so Floyd TKO'd him in the 10th round. And everyone's talking about, Conor got outclassed. The boxing pundits were saying, shouldn't have been in there. And exactly everything that I thought was going to happen at the before the fight was announced, as the fight was announced, happened. Why is Conor fighting a guy who specialises in boxing? It was an exhibition match. It was like when Rocky Balboa took on Thunderlips. Remember that? That's what it was like. Just two lads having a fight from different kind of backgrounds and seeing what happened. But it's a very strange event because thinking back on it, I honestly can't make anything of it. It's just so weird. The whole event, it felt like a money grab. It kind of sounded good at the beginning. I think this fight is a pure example of how great marketing can be, First initial thoughts on the fight was, this is stupid, this shouldn't happen. And then all of a sudden, I got honey-dicked. The promos come up and I was like, oh yeah, stuff, and then sparring come up and then people started talking and Conor's like, I'm gonna run through Floyd and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and I was like, Jesus, will he? No, I don't think he will. As I went on, I got more confident and I was like, yeah, okay. But I always kept that skepticism about me. I didn't bet on the fight at all, because I couldn't bet on Floyd, and I just didn't fancy betting on Conor, so I'm just going to watch it as a neutral. Throughout the entire fight, the entire fight card, should I say, the undercard, in my opinion, I'm not a massive fan of boxing. It was fucking dreadful. It was awful. Absolutely fucking awful. It felt just thrown together. Me and my friends are watching the fight, and we were just looking at the crowd, looking at all the people in the crowd, and looking at the referee. There was a black guy in one of the refs, and he looked like a retired action man, like an action figure. He kind of looked like had that face. That's what I remember from the undercard. Tony Weeks, that was his name. Look, Google Tony Weeks and you see what I mean. It was just, I don't know what it was. It was weird. It was a very strange feeling surrounding the entire event. And as there was two guys fighting, I can't remember who it was now, and the camera kept cutting off and showing celebrities lining up outside on a red carpet getting a picture taken in between the fight, and I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? The fight had a very strange thing surrounding it, but look, it's over now. I'm glad it's over. My thoughts on the fight is just, it happened, People are saying, look, Conor lasted 30 minutes with him. In his world, he wouldn't last 30 seconds in Conor's world. That's just a fact. So, but look, none of this matters. He's retired. He's got all his money. Conor's going to go back to the UFC. And let's go on to the next point, okay? Okay, what's the takeaways from the fight? In terms of, fuck all the other bullshit. In terms of, Conor's career now. There's no point in talking with Floyd, he's gone, he's retired. So Conor's career, what's he going to do and what's he going to learn from this fight? Well, he needs to transition back to all his MMA stuff, all his wrestling and all his everything else. And the biggest thing for me, my biggest takeaway from this is Conor's cardio. After his loss against Nate Diaz, nothing wasn't talked about, but he'd got a bad staph infection, and that played a part in his fatigue, or so I believed. I thought that was the main reason he lost. He looked good up until that, and all of a sudden he gassed, and he just was out of it. Then the second fight, he gassed again, and he kind of came back, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not too sure. In the Mayweather fight, 3-4 rounds, and he was doing unbelievable amount of cardio training, and it doesn't make any sense. And to me, when he goes back to the UFC, there's a blueprint on how to beat McGregor now. All of a sudden, he looks very, very human. What was it? The third, fourth round in the fight, Conor was out on his feet. And I was thinking, the only way he's going to stop Floyd, he's not going to outpoint Floyd. He's going to stop him is to knock him out. Coming to third and fourth round in that fight, Conor couldn't lift his arms. He was throwing punches, but there was not even a fifth of the power there was at the very beginning of the fight. And it didn't look like any of his stamina was regenerating after the fight. After each round, sorry. But like, I'm thinking, if I'm a Khabib, if I'm a Tony Ferguson, or even Max Holloway, there's a blueprint there to beat Conor. I think once you weather the storm, one of the most disappointing things for me about the fight is, in terms of the actual fight, the most obvious game plan Mayweather had, and McGregor fell for it. Literally punch his arms until he gets tired, and then Mayweather just bet the shit out of him because he couldn't do anything to retaliate. He needs to figure out what's wrong with his cardio. Everyone gets tired, but he's going to have to pace himself more. He's going to have to do something, because I can see him losing now a lot in the UFC. People are going to study that and going, it's very easy to beat him now. You last a round or two with McGregor, get up against the fence or something, hold him there and just get him tired, and he's fucked. All of a sudden, all of this crazy arsenal of strikes and things like that he has is gone. It's taken away from him because he doesn't have the energy to do it anymore. And it's a massive, massive downside. For him to gas that early in the boxing fight, 4 or 5 rounds in, and have nothing left. I mean nothing. And the referee did him a favour by stopping the fight, because he can always say, look, I was going to recover and come back, and I always had a chance to knock him out, Conor wasn't going to recover. Like, let's be honest. He was taking a hell of a lot of unanswered shots to the face. He was flailing about the ring. He was out of it. And I think if Floyd hadn't knocked him down, it would look a lot more embarrassing than the fight actually was. Conor to fall. But look, let's not get it twisted. If Conor had ridiculous stamina, he would be one of the greatest fighters of all time. If he didn't gas, like if he could do what he did in the opening 2 rounds throughout the entire fight without really slowing down, he'd be a monster. He would have flattened Floyd. But the thing is, he punched his arms for 2 rounds and he connected a few times, nothing big now. And then that was it. He just went straight down, and Floyd was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? I'm fighting a guy who has his hands down like this and is too tired to even lift him back up and throw punches back. So Floyd just walked him down. He made Conor look like an amateur in the feet. He did. And I'm a big Conor fan, but the fight shouldn't have taken place. The only thing Conor can learn from this is his cardio. Try and fix that somehow. And who's Conor going to fight next? What's his next plan of action, To me, since Conor was gone, he left the UFC, kind of train for this fight, all the rest of it. What has happened? Khabib was supposed to fight Tony. Never happened because Khabib missed weight. And now I think they were supposed to fight again, and Khabib refused to fight him. And now Tony is fighting Kevin Lee, I think. So nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing. There's no even clear contender. There's still nothing. Look, you can try and make a fight. You can say like, all right, let's put Conor versus Khabib, but there's no real incentive, really. It could easily be against Tony Ferguson, but it's like, well, I don't think anybody. UFC now is about super fights nearly. Fans need to have a real clear fighter against a fighter, and you can't have him fighting Nate Diaz 3, because what happens then? Nate Diaz is fighting for the title. I don't know what ranking Nate Diaz is in 155. I'm pretty sure he's still in 155, isn't he? And he'll have to jump up the entire ranking, skipping everyone. Khabib, Tony, Kevin Lee, to fight Conor. Which then, it just throws everything out of shape. But it's a super fight. The trilogy, and that makes money, so that could happen. But that's what the UFC is now. But the thing is with that fight as well, I think people are so sick of these super fights that don't make sense. Like GSP is coming back to fight Bisping, a guy out of his weight class. Pretty sure he should be fighting Woodley. I would prefer that fight a lot more as well. But sure, look, UFC is fucking, it's all over the shop at the moment. You know what I mean? But there's talk of as well of Conor fighting 145 again, and does that make sense to anybody? Like, he left the division. That's why he got stripped of the title, because he's like, well, he didn't say I can't make weight anymore, but he was like, I don't want to make weight anymore. That's way too hard on me. So maybe he's going to fight fucking Max Holloway. But then if he takes that title back again, what's the point in having it? If he's like, if it's too hard on him to cut down to 145, don't keep on. Like, if he takes that belt, he'll be fighting, 155, 145, 155, 145 to try and retain both belts. If he does fight Max again, I tell you, it would be a good fucking fight. It really would. And especially now, like, I think Max has more cardio than Conor. So it's interesting to see. And Max is a hell of a fighter. Max can push a really, really good pace as well. Good on the feet. That would be a really interesting fight. The only thing Conor would have on him is weight, really. If Conor manages to cut weight properly, he could be 15, maybe between 15 20 pounds heavier than him in the fight, I'd say. If he can hydrate properly after the weight cut. But I don't even know if that stands to him. Maybe that's why he gassed out so quick against fucking Mayweather, So look, this is going on a bit too long. I'm going to cut it there. But my thoughts on the entire thing was, it felt like greed. It felt like a super fight. It was a made up super fight pushed just to get money, I think. To get Mayweather money, to get Conor money. Look, it happened. I don't know why it happened. No significance came of it. Just to show that Conor could last 10 rounds with Mayweather. Probably the best boxer of all time. But like, it's kind of felt like a nothing fight, It's a card thrown together. There was no effort put into it. It felt like it was there made for celebrities and to be seen at the fight. That's who was at the fight, and that was pretty much it. I don't know why it even happened, but it happened, and I'm glad it's over with. To be honest with you, I'm glad it's over with. So Conor's go back to the UFC to fight God knows who, probably Nate. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And my next video, I forgot to make a video a while ago. I want to talk about John Jones as well, and him being caught for steroids again, and my thoughts on that and Cormier. So yeah, if you like, leave your opinions, whatever, your comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.